We're back with the relentless right-wing effort to block the vote. Think Progress exclusively reports on the Romney campaign training volunteer poll watchers to mislead voters in Wisconsin. The training also encouraged volunteers to deceive election officials and the public about who they were associated with. They obtained the Romney campaign's volunteer observer, the training manual given volunteers during training sessions in Wisconsin. This section raises serious concerns. Rules regarding observers. Volunteers are specifically told to sign in as, quote, concerned citizen, not as connected to the Romney campaign. So why is the Romney campaign telling poll volunteers to be purposely deceptive? Think Progress obtained audio from one of the training sessions. Here's the person leading the session.
We're going to have you sign in this election cycle as a concerned citizen. We're just trying to alleviate some of the animosity of being a Republican observer up front.
Animosity? Poll watching is nothing new. It's been going on for years. Republicans and Democrats do it. It's a legal and necessary part of free and fair elections. But the Romney campaign doesn't want voters to know they're there. Gee, I wonder why. Joining me now is Scott Kais, who broke the story for Think Progress, and Joe Madison, nationally syndicated radio host of Sirius XM's The Power. Thanks to both of you for being here tonight. Scott,
Thanks for having me.
Scott, what else can you tell us about your reporting? I mean, anything misleading coming from the campaign?
Sure. Think Progress obtained this document that is being used in Romney poll watcher trainings around the state. We identified as many as 17 such trainings that have occurred in the last month. And not only are they being instructed to sign in at the polls as a concerned citizen rather than, mention or disclose any affiliation with the Romney campaign or the Republican Party, they're also being given highly misleading and sometimes downright false information in there. For instance, they're told on one of the pages that given a list of ineligible voters. One of those is anybody who has ever committed a felony in the state. Now, that's just patently not true. Wisconsin law allows for anybody with a felony, once they have completed their sentence, they're given their voting rights back. There are tens of thousands of Wisconsinites in this situation who the Romney campaign is encouraging their poll watchers to say are ineligible voters.
Now, who was that woman on the tape we played? Her name is Christina Ciesick. We have her LinkedIn page. Under experience, she writes, General Counsel, Election Day Operations Director, Republican Party of Wisconsin. So, Scott, who is she?
She is a 2011 graduate of Marquette Law School who's legal counsel for the Romney campaign and the Republican Party in Wisconsin. And it appears that she's been conducting these poll watcher trainings across the state in places like Racine and Green Bay, helping train these volunteers who are then going to fan out on Election Day and try to be, even though they're representatives of the Romney campaign, not disclosing that information when they actually get to the polls.
Now, Joe, poll watching is done by all parties, civil rights groups you and I have been affiliated with. Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Why would someone want to purposely deceive their connection or affiliation with poll watching unless there's something they're going to do or dealing with here that does not meet the eye?
Well, they might get one of those Samuel Jackson attitudes, get out of my face mentality. First of all, let's understand what this is, who they're directing this at. It will slow down, for example, the process. Now, if you slow down the process, look how long the lines have been for voting early. Imagine what the lines will look like on Election Day. So you slow down the process by having all of these challenges. Number two, the elder elderly are targeted because they lie and they say that a poll worker can't come out and help an elderly who might be in a car or a van who has a wheelchair. Well, that's a lie. It slows down those who might be discouraged, thinking, oh, I can't vote because I have a record even though I'm qualified. Right. It's targeting people. But here's the best answer to this. One, what you've done and others have done, this is an argument for voting early. This is an argument so you don't have to put up with that mess. And secondly, I think people ought to, if approached by these folks, ought to basically tell people, get out of my face. This is my vote. My vote counts just like anybody else, and I'll go in here and I'll vote the way I want to and not be put off by this. I'm so glad Think Progress did this, because now we can put people on notice. Don't be fooled by this.
Now, Scott, we understand that the Romney campaign is training poll watchers in at least 2 other states. Here's the sign page for early voting poll watchers in Nevada. And after Think Progress reported on the Wisconsin poll watching training program, the campaign blocked access to the sign-up page. Here's the Ohio sign-up page, which also asks volunteers to, quote, help protect democracy. So this is more than just Wisconsin, Scott.
Well, that's one of the scary things here is for every document that we were able to obtain here, there's probably 10, 20, 50 other ones that we just don't know about. And that's just within the Romney campaign. I mean, there are these new outside groups who are fanning across the country like True the Vote, whose express purpose is to send poll watchers essentially to minority-heavy districts and try to do the same types of things, slowing down the process, issuing challenges on eligibility, trying to make it as put up as many barriers as possible to vote.
Well, so that we must deal with these barriers and keep going, as Joe Madison said. Get out my face, let me vote.
That's right. Get out of my face. I'm going to vote. Absolutely.
Scott, Joe, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thanks for having me.
Up next, the Billionaire Boys Club that's funding voter suppression. We finally learned who's behind those voter fraud billboards in the Midwest. Stay with us.